everybody, welcome back. And for those of you new to the channel, I'm Brad, and this is Sabot Ready Woodworks. Today we're going to be talking the hand drill. This is a Miller Falls number 5. This is part of the bunch of tools that I inherited from my grandparents' neighbor quite a few years ago. And I haven't used it. It's in as-is condition the way I got it. And overall, it's complete. There's one little bit of damage just on the main gear wheel. It must have been dropped at some point because there's a little chip taken out. But that's not going to impact the overall use. All in all the parts and components are still there. Everything is in pretty good condition. Some of the paint is starting to peel and what have you. And as you use it, it gets a little stiff in some spots, so it definitely needs to be taken apart and have the gears cleaned and oiled up. And should be good as new by the time I'm done. So, let's get to it. Alright everybody, so here is the Miller Falls number 5 hand drill. Like I said before, this is the one I inherited from my grandparents' neighbor. Overall, all the components are there. Nothing too crazy about it. The only real damage, you can probably see right here, is this had been dropped at some point in its life and there was a chip taken out. However, it hasn't impacted the teeth to the actual gear wheel itself. And so therefore I'm really not too concerned about it. If I ever find one of these wheels laying around, I may replace it in the future. But for the time being, this is going to work just fine. All the components are here. Nothing seems overly seized. As I said before, it gets a little stiff. It gets a little stiff in some spots. But overall, it's not bad. Like I said, probably just needs to be cleaned up and re-oiled. As for the actual chuck itself, it works nicely. All the components are there. It moves smoothly. So that should just be a real quick cleanup. So this is probably going to be a really easy project. Just a matter of taking things apart, cleaning it up, taking some things to the wire wheel just to clean up all the surface. I'm going to get rid of this like paint and shellac that's on the wooden handles. I don't like painting wood. I always find it looks tacky and then it starts to flake off and looks like crap. So I'm going to get all this cleaned up and then probably put a nice coat of Danish oil on it because it's just nice to see that just the natural grain of the wood. And aside from that, we'll look to paint the body black again, and I'll clean up the wire or the main wheel and we'll paint that red again. And aside from that, it should look beautiful just as it did when it was made. I think this was probably made somewhere around the 20s, from what I've seen, reference like the little symbol for the Miller Falls and whatnot that they have on the handle. But I'll look into that and I'll let you know at the end of the video what I found. Okay, let's start taking this apart. So before I started disassembling my number 5, I looked up a few videos and instruction how-tos just to make sure that there wasn't any red herrings when disassembling this that I needed to watch out for. Overall, it was pretty straightforward. Like I said before, the hand drill itself was in fairly good condition, so nothing was really rusted together or stuck. So as I took each component apart, I just inspected it to make sure that there was no additional damage or anything I needed to be aware of when starting my cleaning and disassembly. I was really quite happy with how easy a lot of these components came out. It had been taken care of beforehand. It was just starting to show its age, and I wanted to give it a clean up before I started using it. Overall, the body itself was in good condition. One challenging part that I came across was just knocking out the retaining pins. Luckily, I had some punches. The one that sort of held the handle onto the screw, right where that silver fairing is, gave me the most trouble, and I just kind of left it after a little while. The little retaining pin that held the handle screw onto the body itself was a little tight, but with a little persuasion and just pulling it out with some pliers, it came out no problem. So despite there being a bit of rust on the handle threads itself, it came apart fairly easily, which was nice. I don't think it had been taken apart since it was put together. Here, there should have been a little shaft that would just fall out that holds that rear gear in place. However, for whatever reason, that was stuck. I threw a whole bunch of WD-40 at it, hopefully trying to loosen it up. But the rear shaft where the handle holds it in place just wouldn't want to come out. Next up was knocking out the retaining pins that hold the front gear together. Again, this was a little stiff. Like I said before, it hadn't been disassembled, I think, since it was built back almost 100 years ago. But I got the retaining pin out. and the shaft itself was a little stiff. There was a bit of gunk on it, but as I took it out, it came apart nicely, and the front gear itself was in good condition as well. One thing I had to be careful, and I totally forgot about, was all the little ball bearings. There were 4 of them. You can see them flying across my bench. Luckily, I didn't lose them because I don't think I would have found them had they hit the floor. But all in all, they were in good condition. They were pretty dry, so they were going to need a little bit of grease before I assembled the drill back together. Got the gear and shaft that attached to the chuck out. There were 4 little ball bearings on the inside here. Luckily I didn't lose any as they came out, and there's a little plate that holds them in. This gear, inside, there's a shaft that goes through that the gear sits on, and it's pretty jammed up in there. It doesn't want to come out, but the gear is moving smoothly. I've added some WD-40 in there to try and loosen it up. She doesn't want to come out. So I don't know if I'm really going to invest too much more time in trying to get that out where this seems to be moving freely. And with a little bit of grease on the inside, I think it'll be fine. So let's start getting this cleaned up with the wire wheel, and then we'll move on to the next steps. So I had forgotten to record over at the wire wheel and then when I was doing the painting itself. But honestly, at the wire wheel, you didn't miss much. For the painting, I made sure that I had taped off everything I didn't want painted. And any holes where there's threads, I put a bunch of blue shop towel in there and put a little bit of painter's tape over top just to keep the threads itself clean. And overall, the paint went well and it came off nicely. And the body and main gear wheel are looking a lot better than they did before. Reassembly was pretty simple. It was the exact opposite. I made sure to grease up the little ball bearings, being very careful not to lose them again. And once I got them assembled and put in, I felt a lot of relief. This way I know that they wouldn't fall out anywhere. Anything that had moving parts, I made sure to oil it up quite nicely. Not too much that it's seeping out everywhere, but enough that it's not going to affect anything and still keep everything moving. The retaining pins went in fairly easily. No major issues there. Just had to balance things and just find the right lineup a little bit. But all in all, it went together quite nicely. Also off camera, I sanded down all the paint that were on the handles to 220 and added some Danish oil, and they feel so much better in the hand. I honestly can't explain the difference between the flaky shellacked paint and just the straight up Danish oil, but totally worth it if you're restoring one of these. Getting the final pieces together and seeing all the effort you put into restoring an old tool is just fantastic. Everything went together as smoothly as it came apart, which was quite good for me. And I just made sure that any threads received just a little bit of oil, so this way they don't seize up or rust in the event that things start to get humid in the shop or what have you. And all in all, it felt great in the hand, and doing the little test movements, everything moved smoothly. And I couldn't be happier. There was no binding, no tough spots. Everything was probably as good as the day it was 100 years ago when it came off the factory line. Finally, time for a test. Here I'm using an 1/8" drill bit and just wanted to see how it cuts through, I think it's a 1/2" slice of maple, and it just goes through beautifully. I need to just work on keeping my hand steady a little bit, but aside from that, everything worked smoothly and it cut through that maple just beautifully. All right, everybody, so that concludes my little refurb and restoration of my Miller Falls No. 5 hand drill. This was a fun little project to do, just in between some of my bigger projects. Again, sort of restoring and cleaning up some of the hand tools I've collected over the past little bit for use in a future project. And this was overall pretty easy. All the components were there. Everything was still in very good condition. Did a disassembly, clean, oil, and reassembly. I gave the body a good run on the wire wheel just to clean up the little bit of flaky finish that was on there, and added a new black coat. And then on the main gear, I've added a red coat just for that nice, beautiful contrast. I sanded down the wooden handles that had that really flaky painted stuff on there. Didn't like it, didn't feel good in the hand, so I just completely sanded it down back to the wood, added on some Danish oil, and now it just feels wonderful to hold. Overall, really simple, no real issues that I came up with or came up against. Back here, there's a little shaft that holds on this rear gear. For whatever reason, it just didn't want to come out. I tried everything, a little bit of oil, some WD-40, just trying to lube it up and move it. It didn't want to come out. At the end of the day, not that big of a deal. The rear gear spins freely. It's not impacting anything. So I added just a little bit of oil in there to keep everything all lubed up, and it works beautifully, as you can see. In my original opening part of the video, I talked about maybe replacing the main gear. I'm not going to do that because as I was cleaning it up, I did find on the numbers on the side here, numbers 40675. That does have a meaning. I'll get to that maybe in a little later video. But so for the time being, I'm going to keep this because it does have meaning and a little bit of history. And for those of you that do know me, know that I love my history. As well, speaking of history, on the actual handle for the crank, there's a little inverted triangle with Miller Falls on there. From what I can discern, from what I've been looking up on various forums, that puts the maker's mark of this somewhere between 1921 and 1931 for when this was manufactured. So all in all, it's had a long life of approximately 100 years, and hopefully it's ready to go for another 100 more. Aside from that, I'm looking forward to using this on a future project. It won't be used on all projects, but every now and then, like I said, when I want to slow down and just really take the time, work with my hands, this is what I'm going to pull out instead of one of my battery-powered drills. So, this is a lot of fun. Thanks for coming along. Sorry you didn't see me at the wire wheel. You really didn't miss much. If you want to see that, go see my video reference restoring my Stanley 45, and you can see me at the wire wheel. And I didn't record the painting. Probably not that exciting watching paint dry anyway. But thanks for coming out, everyone, and I'll have another tool restoration here for you shortly. Have a good one. Cheers.